Dede Allen was not afraid to make a cut. Two of her trademarks, pre-lapping and quick cutting, allowed the audience to feel the emotion of a scene every time she made an edit. In the Breakfast Club dance scene, each character gets their time to shine, showcasing the epitome of each character in the way they dance. Eventually, they all dance together, summarizing the arc of the movie.
So on Monday, what happens?
Most famous for her work as a film editor, Dede had her start in sound editing. She is known for creating the now common practice of pre-lapping known as an L-cut and a J-cut. The sound from one scene would be overlaid onto another instead of cutting sound and video at the same time. Listen how Claire's dialogue starts while still showing Andrew. This was revolutionary when Dede started making movies.
All of you.
That's a real nice attitude, Claire.
Oh, be honest, Andy. If Brian came walking up to you in the hall on Monday, what would you do? I mean, picture this, you're there with all the sports. I know exactly what you'd do. You'd say hi to him, and when he left, you'd cut him all up so your friends wouldn't think that you really liked him.
No way.
Okay. What if I came up to you?
The same exact thing.
Hey, isn't that Malcolm there?
Another trademark tool was rapid cutting. In her most iconic scene from Bonnie and Clyde, Dede creates a dynamic energy as Bonnie and Clyde are lured to their deaths by Ivan Moss. Let's watch.
What you got there? I got a flat tire. I ain't got no spare. Hey.
This edit slows down the action so you can see just how many cuts there were.
The peaceful Sunday afternoon drive of a couple quickly falls apart as the sound is permeated by gunshots. Dede lingers just long enough on the characters to allow audiences to feel their confusion, realization, and then pain. Instead of just the gore of a typical gun action sequence, the violence comes in the form of brutally quick cuts, with some clips only lasting 1 second. Each edit comes like a bullet.
The rhythm of a scene was crucial to Dede. It came from an innate sense of feeling where the best place to edit would be. Her collaborator on the movie Reds talks about what Dede called cut with your gut.
I'd like to say that what she taught me to be a general. That's what and if anybody could teach you to be a general, it was Dede, let me tell you. She's a very powerful force. And she also taught me to cut with my gut. And I'd like to say that this editing process that we're all talking about here is much more of an intuitive process, which is what that line refers to, than it is an intellectual process. And so for a young editor, you have to learn to follow that voice. It's the truest voice. It goes for writers, painters, and musicians. And so that she was very strong with cut with your gut.
Dede herself talks about the gut feeling in editing on the website Cinemontage. She says that for the film Little Big Man, she was cutting without sound after a while because it was such a big sequence. When it came to the death of the character Sunshine, she says, I was so upset at that point that I moved the sound out. It was silent. And it so moved me that I never put the sound back in. He falls and cries, but there is no sound coming out of him, so it's very moving.
Why was she never afraid to make a cut? Dee Dee counted on the performances of the actors.
Because you're looking at the eyes. That's really one of the key things is when you're matching, for instance, which is they have script supervisors who are supposed to make sure that everybody does the same thing in every take the same way. And when an actor is freed up, they don't always do it exactly the same way, but if the eyes work and they're not basically in a totally wrong position, you can always make a cut. There's no such way as not being able to make a cut if you have a performance and you're watching the performance and you're involved, so that nobody's aware you're cutting. You're involved with what the character's saying, and you go into close-up, or you go in over shoulder, or they have moved to another position.
Excuse me. Oh, okay, Pumpkin. Sit down. Join the fun.
Mama, you should know better. Dang, you're a handful.
In the Addams Family, characters' eyes flick back and forth from a state of meditation to Grandmama as she calls on Lester. Every cut directs back to Grandmama, who's providing the dialogue, and every cut gives us insight into the characters' personalities. All the while, her signature rapid cuts create a sense of chaos and humor.
Feel that he's near. Fester Addams, gather your strength and knock 3 times. Did you hear that?
Ask again, Mama, quickly.
By all means.
Ask.
Fester Addams, I demand that you knock again.
He's at the door!
It's really a matter of feeling. I get very emotionally involved with my characters or my scenes, and it's very visceral. I mean, for instance, when you're doing something where there's action and stuff, that to me is fun and games because it's to me much simpler. Things that I remember one year at the Academy Awards, they were running some pictures and they were talking about editing, and it was all about how many cuts you can make. That's not what it's really about, because you can make, I've been known to make a lot of cuts.
Dee Dee Allen's groundbreaking editing style allowed the emotion of a film to shine through. With each cut, she changed the landscape of film editing and pioneered the way modern movies are made.